Turkey isn't called Turkey anymore, says the Turkish government. 4th of December 2021, the Turkish president releases a circular. His country should not be called Turkey, Türkiye, or Turkey, but only the Turkish language term Türkiye. Turkish products should say made in Türkiye, and Turkish Airlines planes Türkiye Hava Yolları. On the 31st of May 2022, things get serious. The Turkish foreign minister sends out letters saying, please only call our country Türkiye. OK say among others UN, NATO, EU, USA, China, India and Russia. From then on, in diplomatic settings, they all use Türkiye. Now, why would you do that? Changing a country name is a cumbersome and costly thing. There's got to be a good reason for it. What says the president? Türkiye represents the culture, civilization and values of the Turkish nation in the best possible manner. Okay? Well, what's that even mean? A word represents exactly that which you associate with it. And with Türkiye, most foreigners associate nothing at all. Many don't know the word and it's used by even fewer. The president says, Türkiye is accepted as umbrella brand of our country in national and international media. Only, that's not true. How well a name is established is hard to say exactly, but let's try for a ballpark figure, number of Google searches. Of all countries in the whole world, there are but 4 where Türkiye is more often searched than the English version Turkey. That's 1, the name bearer Türkiye itself, and after that only Germany, Austria and Cyprus. 3 countries with a sizable Turkish minority. The rest of the world mainly searches for Turkey, and most countries significantly more so. So in Turkey they had a country name that's established all around the world, but then swapped it for a name that's hardly ever used by people outside of Turkish-speaking circles. And that's supposed to help representation? Nah, everyone knows it's not really about that. There are actually lots of sources seeing the change primarily as a political maneuver. Idea like so, they demand international usage of the Turkish name, which demonstrates the power of the Turkish government. That might be true, but what I'm interested in is something else entirely, which is the name change generally good? If you ask like that, there's really only one relevant argument for the name change: the bird issue. Now, land on the Bosporus called Turkey, right? But one doesn't have to study linguistics with a shot at faculty, burn out from the workload, change careers to deliver packages for even lower pay, with the majority of packages dropped off at some phone repair store for pickup, no matter if people are actually at home or not. I was at home, damn it! Just ring the bell! To know that turkey also a type of bird. Capitalized turkey, country, lowercase turkey, bird. That is no coincidence though. Mid-16th century, African guinea fowls are imported to England via Türkiye, hence named turkey cock/turkey hen, and at some point simply turkey. Then appearance poultry number 2 from America in Europe, and because analogously chonky burb, called turkey also, despite both wholly un-Turkish. Now, if you care a lot about your country, have pretty thin skin, and are regularly confronted with hilarious turkey puns, such similarities don't feel all that amazing. Therefore, change to Türkiye. If no one calls the country Turkey anymore, bird connotation go bye-bye. And yeah, I get that. It's no fun being called a name you really don't want to be called.
Hey, stupid face. Stupid face.
Shut up, Marco, your mom eats silica gel. Then again, hey Türkiye, what do you call turkeys? Well, Hindi. What was that? Hindi, damn it! Türkiye. Bird issue obviously not cool. Still, I'm not a big fan of the change to Türkiye. Maybe that's none of your business though? Absolutely. Not I decide, but the Turkish population. That should be respected. Only, doesn't make the change any better. Come on, what's wrong with it? That's the thing. A lot. Türkiye demands to be called the same version of its name used at home, despite sticking out in some languages like a landmine in your happy morning porridge. No other country does that. Nearly no other country does that. Know why? Because it's a really bad idea. Languages are different. If a country name includes sounds not used or just really unusual in another language, that's no good. Who on earth knows all sounds of all languages? Well, I'm a professor of linguistics and I speak No one can it. Therefore, compromise. Original name is used but slightly altered so as to be easily read and writable in the respective language. Türkiye is called Türkiye since country's foundation in 1923. In other languages, its name is similar but not identical. In German, country names often end on I, hence Türkei. In Spanish, they often end on ia, have no ü sound, and often use QU instead of K, hence Turquía. So the correct country name is used, but in a different form, so pronunciation attempts don't result in a second-degree tongue fracture. But then, 2022, this change comes along and discards exactly those adaptations of Türkiye, helping to integrate the name into other languages. And with Türkiye especially, adaptation is sorely needed, as pronunciation for many people, not easy. Yeah, I had Turkish in college, even been to Türkiye a few times. That's how they say it, Türkiye. Of course, maybe the correct pronunciation isn't all that important. A Turkish promo video for the change includes English pronunciations of Türkiye completely different from the Turkish one.
Hello, Turkey!
Hey, Mom, I just landed.
Oh, hello, Turkey.
Hello, Turkey.
Hello, Türkiye. But if correct pronunciation completely irrelevant, why insist on exactly this name? Cause not only hard to say, also hard to write. Cause you might have noticed, Türkiye features an umlaut. For me, no biggie since Austrian, Ü right at home on my German standard keyboard. But in most countries of the world, not. If you're, for example, Indian, trying to type Türkiye with an Ü as is correct, you have to either memorize a special keyboard shortcut, install a new language option on your mobile telephone device keyboard, or you do the dumb move I always do when I don't have a special character, open browser, type word sans special character, return, word is spit out correctly, Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, done. That's not the end of the world, but a bit annoying. And a bit annoying for most people, way too much. I just type a U. Everyone's gonna know what I mean. Nah, I don't care for that junk. Now I gotta say Türkiye? What is a Türkiye? 50 years I've been saying Turkey, and you know what? I'ma keep saying Turkey till the Lord calls me home. Sure. That's just it. A change is only sensible if it sticks. Sure, a bunch of international diplomats ordering their mapo tofu in Mandarin for fun have no problem saying Türkiye. From now on, always say Türkiye.
Yes, boss.
But that doesn't mean that outside of these elite circles, anyone's gonna care for using a name that's unfamiliar, harder to say, and harder to write. And oh shock or wonder, a look at Google searches after the name change in 2022 shows us that nothing at all has changed. Not even in world diplomacy is there any unified usage. Look at all kinds of embassy websites and see a mishmash of Türkiye, Turkey, and the respective country's own version. Damn. What to do now? The bird similarity is a real problem for some people, I get it. But in order to change that, slapping Türkiye on everything isn't the right remedy. The bird issue is English only. Bird and country are not similar in German, French, Spanish, Russian, Chinese, Arabic, and in Hindi too. They're slightly different. But still, the official name is not just the Republic of Türkiye, but also La République de Türkiye and La República de Türkiye, despite French and Spanish not having a bird problem at all. That one's confined to English, so it only needs to be solved in English. And solution is easy. Everything as before, Turkey becomes Türkiye, but without the umlaut. Pronunciation-wise, it's no real difference, and the typing issue vanishes instantly. Instead of a hard, say, and writable term, one could support a word that easily fits the English language. Türkiye lies far enough from Turkey to not think of the bird right away, but not too far so those not in the know are clear on which country's meant. That way, you leave the bird behind, but Türkiye in the Turkish language, where it's at home. Believe me, I know my stuff. I even have a YouTube channel. Hey, person watching my video. Again? What? Yeah, people can support your channel and that's really important so you can keep making videos for a long time to come. We know. At patreon.com/tapakapa. Everyone knows this. But do you also know that you can support my channel without a monthly payment? No, I don't. Please tell me more. If you say, hey, cool channel, I'd like to contribute a bit, but not monthly, just once, that's possible now as well. Click the link in the description for one-off support of the channel, no commitment and nothing. And if you can't or don't want to support the channel, you can still follow me on Patreon for free to get email updates and never miss another video. Thanks for your attention, until next time.